I like the hat though.
And
Okay.
yeah, welcome cowboys and cowgirls. Is this how it ends podcast? I'm Nell.
Are we start episode? Girl, we
All right,
recording, so that's
yes.
how we starting.
As y'all can tell, cowgirl Nell for this episode, and I'm going to the Beyonce concert tomorrow.
Woo
Cowboy.
woo.
Yes, girl, my hat almost didn't make it here, and I was so sad.
Oh,
I
well, I'm
couldn't
glad
find.
it did.
Yes, girl, because my head is the circumference is pretty, it's
Mm.
large, and then I have locks. So finding hats that fit is really hard. So I got to get I was looking for triple XL hats, but this was double XL
Okay.
and it fit.
All right. Should be fun.
Yeah. So we have been gone for a little bit. Now we're back with the jump off. That song.
Yeah.
So for normal, not so normal-ish, I actually have a nickname for it. It's called Stay Your Ass in Jail. I actually am in the process of writing a song with the same title, so stay tuned.
Okay.
It's called
All
Stay Your
right.
Ass in Jail. Now, the Diddy trial, there's just so much going on every day. I don't know where to begin. So we're going to talk about a few bad men because there's been this discourse that's going around. So just to let you know, there's this guy's name is Deontay from Grits and Eggs podcast. And so now it's in like a bit of an uproar because he's talking about how basically, particularly that men that side with Tory and Diddy, like it's just basically a toxic masculinity and how you want the opportunity to be in the position to hurt people without recourse. So like now like the red pill manosphere is getting on him because he's actually saying like the thing out loud that most men don't actually like women. They like how they can serve them. So this is just a whole bunch of men just acting up. So in the Diddy trial this week, his lawyers, his legal teams, they requested a mistrial, citing prosecutorial misconduct related to the implications of evidence destruction in the Kid Cudi incident. The judge denied the request, stating that there was no prejudicial testimony to support a mistrial. Look, what are the lawyers grasping at?
Anything. Anything.
What? Sir, just like at this point, I think he got these lawyers from Celino and Barnes. You know that? Celino
You
and
know, it burns.
Barnes. That's what I think at this point, because how many people has he cycled through?
That's a hard case, though. There's so much against him. After the baby oil incident, I'd have been like, yo, you on your own. Is this?
Yeah, like I don't know if they're just taking his money and then they're just diddy bopping away from him. I don't know, because at this point, they're just grasping
Think
at
about it, right? If you could somehow get Diddy acquitted or you get him a lesser sentence, like that'll put you on the map. It's like the OJ Simpson lawyers, right? Johnny Cochran, that
yeah,
man is considered a legend.
yeah.
Okay. You got a black man acquitted with all that evidence.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go through life knowing that you got the devil, you know, off trial, then
There are a
they got
lot of people who need
innocent.
there are a lot of people who need the devil. I'm sure there are a lot of other Diddies out there that we don't know about that haven't come to light.
So on to Tory Lanes. That's what I'm calling him. I don't even know a Tory Lanez song actually, but
I just know he had the cuts in his eyebrows, and I was like, "Wait, is this the 90s? I don't understand."
come back. I need you to just Google Tory Lane's hairline, okay? Like, ciao. So, in another installment of Stay Your Ass in Jail, Tory Lanez on May 12th, real name Daystar Peterson. Daystar.
Daystar or Gay Star?
Daystar.
Oh God.
That sounds Jamaican. Was violently attacked in prison, sustaining 14 stab wounds inflicted by fellow inmate Santino Casio at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi. I don't know if I said that correctly. Lanes suffered injuries to his back, torso, head, and face, leading to the collapse of both lungs. He was hospitalized and placed on a breathing apparatus, but has since been stabilized as reportedly in good spirits. So I'm going to skip the part about like the actual details. But it says, following the incident, Lanes was transferred to another facility for his safety. The stabbing has intensified public discourse around Lanes' 10-year sentence for the 2020 shooting of rapper Megan Thee Stallion. His legal team continues to assert his innocence, citing alleged new evidence, while Megan's representatives are like, bitch, we gave you this information before. They have dismissed these claims as unfounded. Look at here. Every 3 months, Tory Lanes is on some campaign to get out of here. Oh, there's new evidence. There's never any new evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And just because his ass got stabbed in jail, I mean, move him. He's innocent. So what? He got Swiss cheese. He got shanked. I don't know what you want to call it. However, you're in jail. I just think that they act like this just happened. Like, oh, this is my first charge. No, you have a series of charges. This has been happening for a long time.
Oh, I did not know that. I just know the Megan stuff.
No, he had some other stuff before too. And it's just like,
I won't say get what you deserve, but it's like, there are consequences to a lot of this stuff. It catches up to you eventually. I mean, I don't condone the violence to have both lungs. I mean, yes, he did shoot someone, so I guess karma, but I don't know.
I'm glad you are more balanced of the two of us.
Whatever it is, like, I don't like anyone's
downfall.
I believe in karma, but it's not something that I'm like, that's why I don't follow the news. Like, I know Diddy's a bad person, but I'm not consuming the trial. Like, I just don't want to,
Yeah, it's very hard to hear. I really haven't been following it like that, but it's very, because it's too much to like, it's feel like everything is something, but it is very hard to hear,
yeah.
And for there to be evidence and people still want to defend this person just goes to show that what separates evil from certain people is just money and access. If you had these things, then what kind of person would you be?
Yeah. I don't, it's just so weird to me. Like, I don't know if they just don't think he could do this because he has this money, or like all the women are lying because all women are liars apparently to them. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. I think like he probably could have done it in front of someone, like in broad daylight, and somehow they would find a way to justify all of this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the soulless people. So maybe him and Diddy will be pen pals. Hopefully he can write in script. They'll send letters to each other.
Yeah.
Next up is Chris Brown. So Chris Brown on May 15th was arrested in Manchester, England, in connection with an alleged assault that occurred on February 2023 in Tape nightclub in London's Mayfair district. Brown is accused of striking music producer Abraham Dia in the head with a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila. Why are they giving details about the tequila? That's weird. Followed by punching and kicking him, resulting in serious injuries. So he was locked up because he went to Europe. Like you there was a warrant for you. You left, and then your dumbass came back and got arrested. So he was arrested, and he was supposed to be locked up until like June, but he ended up getting out on bail, which was £5 million, approximately $6.7 million, allowing him to proceed with his scheduled Breezy Bowl 20 world tour, which is set to begin on June 8th in Amsterdam.
So he's out on bail, but he's still allowed to perform. Yeah, there are different rules for people with money.
And maybe that's why people want to be famous. They can just do whatever they want to. Wow. Okay. Wow. Girl, and I'm a proponent of stay your ass in jail. I was like, oh, wall to wall, like in the prison. That's what I was saying. And you want to know the crazy part, Soph? The crazy part? I don't know why the algorithm is pushing him so much. So I noticed like all of a sudden, maybe it's my algorithm. Nope, because people are doing this challenge. So it's like this Chris Brown wall to wall challenge. Like people are doing the dance. Then there's another one, his song New Flame, where people are singing it. That's all on TikTok or whatever. And I'm just like, this man like really beat this man. He's another one has a history of doing these things. And then we're like, scroll up, and it's just like, really, all for you to do that on TikTok?
We just want to be entertained. We don't care.
Something about that doesn't sit right in my soul. I just
Maybe they don't know he did all this, because I remember vaguely hearing that he got arrested, but I didn't know the details
of this. I mean,
Yeah.
even if people don't know, no, people did know, but just all the other stuff he's done, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
When it
yes,
comes to
obviously
assault,
the first
you
one.
know. Yeah, so his next court appearance is scheduled at June 20th at South Hawk Crown Court in London, where he's expected to enter a plea. In addition to the criminal charges, Dia has filed a civil lawsuit seeking £12 million, that's around $60 million, in damages related to the incident. I hope he gets his money. So, yeah. And for the last one, DDG, also known in the Lipstick Alley streets as Doo-Doo Garbage. That's what I'm calling him. Do you know who DDG is?
I do not know who that is.
So, do you know Halle Bailey, Little Mermaid, Black Little Mermaid?
Yes. Yep. I do know her.
This is the father of her child, which all of us internet aunties were like, look, you're the Black Little Mermaid. But we just wanted better for her. And it's specifically with this man. So this was actually Mother's Day, or this was sometime in May. Singer Halle Bailey was granted a temporary restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, rapper, and YouTuber DDG following allegations of repeated physical, verbal, emotional, and financial abuse during their relationship. So yeah, she had pictures to support the restraining order. And she was also awarded sole legal and physical custody of their 17-month-old son, Halo. So he has publicly denied the allegations despite the pictures that she showed.
It wasn't me.
She also has a gag order as part of the restraining order. He can't talk about her or the child. And he actually used to use their child a lot for, a draw. And yeah, she's asked for him to refrain from discussing her on social media platforms, citing incidences where he allegedly incited harassment against her by making false claims to his followers, which is very true. And they were harassing her on the internet. So, like all these other guys, there's people that are defending this man. He assaulted her on Mother's Day, and he's just had a history of being jealous of her, making songs about being jealous of her. And it's just like, all the while, like, she's it was a big thing for her to be a Little Mermaid. And so you're facing racism from people out there like, not my Little Mermaid. I will have the little hat on, so that helps with the accent, but not my Little Mermaid, and being racist towards her. And then the father of your child is like putting stuff out there talking about he's jealous because you're holding hands with your co-star.
We need to do better as women. Like, we need to teach, like, be careful who you, I guess sometimes maybe you just don't know. The mask doesn't come off until, I don't know.
I'm just tired of this for a lot of, to your point, young Black women, especially ones that are successful. You have Keke Palmer that happened to. Who's the other one just recently? Sky Jackson. She filed a restraining order. And, Halle, it's just. Yeah.
Who's that? Another Halle Berry. Remember when she was dating that guy?
The baseball player?
No, it was that other guy.
I don't know. There was someone that she dated that he assaulted her so bad that she's like deaf in one ear or something like that. Yeah. I think as a whole, we're just not taught how to date or how to vet men. And, there's all this talk about like the birth rates and, doing things to like force women to have kids. And it's just like, why would you want to bring kids into dysfunction? You're not focusing on the conditions. You're just like, it's not just these famous women, it's younger women too that, just regular folks that are struggling. They're single mothers, they're stressed out. It's just, we have to know that we have more choices than what society says there are.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
It makes my heart heavy.
These people are trash, and the people that defend them are trash. And I've made a concerted effort to be like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you about the justification as to why someone should be treated poorly. Like, you're morally corrupt, honestly. Absolutely not. You want to be rich to hurt people?
Yeah. They think like because you're rich, people are out to get you.
But do no harm. There's defending yourself, and then there's not doing harm to people. All right, y'all. That was a little bit heavy, but this is what's going on.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know which one to do. So I'm gonna call this one. They all look alike.
Is this a conspiracy theory?
No, it's not a conspiracy theory. This goes into like our experience as Black women in the workplace.
Ooh, yeah.
Nothing crazy, but just these microaggressions, but mainly how being called the wrong name at work, right? Not just any name.
I have a story, but we'll get to that.
But another Black woman's name. Someone, who like it's happened to me. Like, and let's be clear, this person looked nothing like me. I'm talking about
Girl,
like different shades, different ways, like you know what I mean? But then, and it doesn't happen just once, it's happened like multiple times. Someone put someone else on a team on this project that I was supposed to be on because they thought it was the other Black woman. I mean, I still got credit for it. And I got like a nice little gift card for not doing any work. Like I reached out to her and I was like, hey, you never put me on this project. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then the other girl was like, I don't know how I got on this. I was like, well, I raised my hand for it. So the obvious, and I know y'all listening like, but you said you had a story. What's your story?
Yeah, so at my job, I've been there like 7 years. And so there's this another Black woman on the floor who she's slim, she's short, but she's bald. Her name is Mia. So I'm
not laughing at the fact that she's bald. I'm just where the story is going.
So because she's bald. Look, just say. So we're in the pantry area, and he's like, hey, Mia. And I look at him, and I'm like, I'm not Mia. And he was so embarrassed. He was like, I'm so sorry. Sir, you know me. I've been here almost 7 years. And he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, you could just tell.
Oh my God.
The door was already open. I was like, sir, just...
I mean, and your name doesn't even like, it's just different, it's the M and a J. Because sometimes, if it's the same, you might, girl.
Yeah, it also like happened to me in like high school, where me and this other girl, Colette, shout outs to her. They were like, "Oh, hey, Colette, me and Colette look nothing alike."
Oh my God.
You don't think you'll be related? No, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. But apparently they're saying that there is a science behind this. Like there are real studies with brain scans, eyes, and all of that fancy acronyms. that's interesting that there is like a science behind this, but part of me is like, this is kind of pure laziness. Like
But
straight up not care. Cause like, you know, for us, like we're in, you know, we have to navigate these white spaces and we know who's who. Like we're not gonna do that. I mean, I haven't done that. Maybe you've like called
no,
another,
I'm not. But
right?
also like who's behind the science of it, right? So let's take for instance like the golden ratio,
Mm-hmm.
which we're supposed to be measured, up against. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like symmetrical faces compared to like who?
Mm-hmm.
What is the base of this symmetry? Whose face are you measuring? That's the barometer for everyone's face. If you don't fit
Mm-hmm.
in that, then that determines how attractive you are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot, but they are calling it the other race effect. It's a known psychological phenomenon where people are just better at recognizing faces from their own racial group. So, researchers at the University of Toronto hooked people up to EEG machines and showed them a bunch of faces. What they found was that within 600 milliseconds, like blink and you miss it fast, the brain start deciding whether it's going to actually process the face or just toss it in the generic bin. So when it's a face from a different racial group, the brain energy drops off, right? The image just gets processed with less detail, less specificity, which makes it harder to tell people apart. So your brain literally is like, okay, copy paste. This is like the same face as every other face, right? It just gets lazy. They even used AI to reconstruct what people thought they saw. And those reconstructions showed that faces of other races were seen as more average looking, more generic, or even like more youthful and expressive. So it's kind of like a caricature. So it like the brain creates like a caricature of the face that it saw,
Wow.
which is kind of it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is. Because even
um
characters, right? They're exaggerated features, aren't they?
yeah. Another study looked at it's called the fusiform facial area. It's the part of your brain responsible for recognizing faces. So when participants saw people of their own race, like that area of the brain lit up. The brain went, oh, hey, new face. But when they saw people of a different race, it's like flatline. To them, it's the same thing. Um, and this is so scary to me because if you think about police lineups, right, eyewitness testimonies, racial recognition tech, if your brain is defaulting to they all look alike, you know, you're more likely to misidentify someone. And suddenly, you know, this it's gone from, oh, this is so awkward, I'm so embarrassed, to hey, someone's life is on the line.
Very
So yeah, like I thought that was interesting. But one thing I will say though, because it says like you tend to recognize your own racially. Like, so if I look at a Haitian person, for some reason, like I could look at their face and then
mhm,
be like, they're Haitian, you
mhm.
know? So maybe it's something like that, like, and someone else won't see it. And usually I'm right. So I wonder, you know, part of me is like, yo, this is so crazy and it's so biased, you know, it's laziness and all of that. But sometimes I'll look at a person like, but they have to be like, if they are Haitian, like I'll look at them and I'll be like, because I'm Haitian, right? And like I grew up around them. So I don't know, but I still think it's pretty lazy. And I like that science is helping us understand why, but I don't think it should excuse it. I think people should do better. Seriously.
It is lazy. Now, so now I smoked a little something. The way my mind works,
Mhm.
all right, I'm gonna try to form the pieces together. ADHD powers unite. All right, so what stuck out to me was talking about how they see our faces almost like caricatures, right?
Mm,
And then I thought about the exaggerated features, right?
yeah.
Now, particularly with Black people, going back to a certain time, was it the 20s? I'm really bad with time. But when you think about the images, right? The Black
Mhm.
images. So it was like AI before AI, right? In terms
Yeah.
of like how they represented us. It was the big
Mhm.
red lips and it was the exaggerated nose. And so it was like, and when you see something in that way, it almost dehumanizes it.
It
You're a
does.
cartoon, you're not a human. And a
Mhm.
lot of things have been designed to dehumanize us so that you don't feel bad for the things that you do.
Mhm.
And so it's just kind of, I just thought it was interesting how we used to be represented, versus it's what it was in your mind, of course, how we recognize people, but how it can be used as
Mhm.
something negative, you know?
Yeah.
So what's happening even before the AI was AIing, you
Yeah.
know?
That's a good point. They're saying part of that brain, that's what it does. I'm like, there's like racism involved, right? And bias involved. I think that impacts what the brain does. Like, you don't want to put the effort into it. So the brain is not going to put any effort into it,
Exactly. And you don't
you
feel
know?
something too worthy to put effort
Mhm.
into. I don't need to tell,
Yeah.
apart Mia from Janelle, you know, like, what does that matter? The
Sometimes
matter,
I also call my kids by the other kid's name, but that's mom brain.
that
Um,
definitely is my grandma, because my grandma had 12 kids, okay? That
I
she would
have two
call us,
kids.
she would call us, she'd be like, Christopher, Danny, Janelle. Then, that we were the grandkids. So, Rosemary, she was just called, we knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I that was an interesting study, but to me, sometimes I feel like when you put science behind it, now people feel, oh, I'm justified. I can do this. This is like bias right now. It's like there's some science behind it on why people are biased, that we're all biased, and we could get comfortable in that. Like, well, that's the way we're made. I think we've trained our minds to be like that. I think it's generations and centuries of racial disparities, racism that impacts a lot of how we process and view things. I think it's cool that science can find a name for it and find studies for it, but I don't think that's something that's natural for us. I feel like when it comes to the need to survive, you need to know who's who. Like, you
Yeah.
need to know who's a friend and who's a foe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if they all look alike to you, to me that's just like
There's no
impacts
discernment.
survival. Yeah.
We could say the same for religion too, but we're not gonna go there.
Yeah. We ain't got time to go there.
Time to go there.
No.
All right, on to shady astrology. Giddy up now. This cowgirl here is gonna take a break from being shady. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about the strawberry moon. Cute,
Ooh.
smooth jazz. CD 101.9. Yes. Hey, y'all. It's your favorite emotional astronaut flying first class on the SS Overthinker. And baby, we've got ourselves a strawberry moon coming in. Or should I say, sweet. Now, this moon is not sponsored by Whole Foods or Beyonce's lemonade stand. The strawberry moon is peaking on June 11th. It's about harvesting emotional fruit, not the kind that you eat, but the kind that falls out of your eyes during therapy. Shout outs to my therapist, by the way. Shout outs to Eileen, okay? She's pretty
Okay.
awesome. She was here for my little talk about like attachment styles and music.
Mhm.
Ciao. Anyway, shout outs to her. Now, spiritually, this moon is about love, letting go, and finally getting the juice from all the inner work you've been doing. And if your inner child still wants a Capri Sun and an apology, that's cool. Look, I just ordered me a Jigglypuff plushie. Okay, so you know,
A Jigglypuff.
do you know about Jigglypuff?
Oh my God, girl. No, I don't know about Jigglypuff. I'm gonna look this up.
Oh, so it's just Pokemon, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and she Jigglypuff, she's round, she's pink. She has a song in her heart, okay? And so she
Okay.
sings what her song puts people to sleep. And
Mm.
then when the people fall asleep, she gets mad, and the end of the microphone turns into a marker, and she draws all over their face.
She got some issues, girl.
She has some anger issues, but she's cute. Shout outs to Jigglypuff. Um, but yes, think of it like you've been tending to your emotional garden, pulling weeds, crying in public again. That goes out to me. Setting boundaries you kind of meant, and now the strawberries are ripe, juicy, dripping with divine insight. And it's more like, I wasn't the problem anyway. Girl, I'm going through that right now. Okay. I'm going through that right now. It's crazy time over here. And if you've been dealing with emotionally available men, right here, and toxic family group chats, or the urge to DM your ex because Mercury's no longer in Gatorade, this is your cosmic reset button. So, what should you do during the strawberry moon? Take a spiritual bath, put some rose petals in there, maybe a literal strawberry, maybe a little Beyonce. You get the vibe. Now, look at here. Strawberries are too expensive. I'm not putting no strawberry nowhere. Okay. I
Get
got
the $20 strawberry.
yeah, it's $20 strawberry. Absolutely not. Journal what's sweet in my life right now. And the answer is you, girl or guy. You're already sweet, right?
Okay.
Release what's a bitter. So light that Palo Santo, cut the cord, block, bless, and move on. And so we'll have a mantra. Remember saying this mantra: I am ripe with wisdom, soft with grace, and no longer available for emotional clearance sales. So, y'all, strawberry moon. Start doing emotional work.
I like it.
Doing eating the fruit.
You still owe me that package, girl.
I do still owe you that package.
But if you come to visit,
look at that. Look at that. Telepathy. I was just about to say that. I was like, when I come, I can bring this stuff. It's happening. It's all happening.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. It was lighter. No anger for any zodiacs just yet.
I'm also going to keep it lighter, and we're going to end on like a really positive note. Like, I'm excited for this one. I'm calling this one, we might actually be glowing. And we talk about this. You ever meet someone and their energy walks into the room before they do, or you're around someone and your body's like, nope, bad vibe. Yeah. I'll never forget this. There was this guy I went to middle school with, and we didn't see each other for like years. I was probably in my early 20s when I ran into him on the train. And he just said hi, like he smiled. He didn't say anything offensive or nothing. But when I tell you, Janelle, I felt like my skin crawled. I remember that, like, I just wanted to get away. I was like, hey, bye. Like, it was just so insane. Like, I still remember that story till this day. Like, again, like he did nothing weird. It's just whatever,
you feeling.
Yeah. So, a lot of like what we feel from people, we call it aura, we call it, the vibe, energy, the soul. Like, this is stuff we've been talking about since humans were around, healers, mystics, yogis, monks, indigenous elders, your auntie with the crystals and the Florida water, or the Palo Santo.
I'm that auntie. Hey.
Right? I'm her too. But when you tell people this stuff, a lot of people are like, man, you crazy, be like, you better get some Jesus in your life. That's what my mama would say. And then she'd pray for me. But so, talking about aura and energy and vibes and the soul, science is saying that people like you might actually be glowing, like literally. There's research that shows that living things, humans included, so all living things emit a faint light. And when we die, that light disappears completely. Researchers in Canada did this experiment where they put mice in a pitch black box and used a camera that can see really, really faint light. And when they did this, the mice, they glowed just a little. And not in that, that the glow in the dark stickers that you get as a kid, but like a faint shimmer coming from their living cells. Then this part is sad. I don't agree with this because goddamn scientists, they euthanize the mice.
Oh,
I know. And as soon as they pass, the glow stopped completely.
Oh,
yeah. And then they also tested it on leaves. When leaves are injured, those parts glowed even more. Like, the plant was saying, hey, I'm hurt, which is kind of sad. It's kind of beautiful. Like, I don't want to hurt plants.
Oh, aloe. Let me pet my aloe.
I know. Yes. Now, science is calling it ultra weak photon emission. And I would like to tell science, can we please do better with naming things?
I was about to say, can I have some sexier names, please?
Right? Something so cool, and we're going to call it ultra weak photon emission.
No, like call it Glotavius or Glow.
Yes. I'd call
Mhm.
it Fantasia, because but they're saying it's tied to stress, that cells release this light when they're working hard or in trouble. But what I'm saying is like we're glowing, like when we're living, like we are glowing human beings. And when that glow leaves, we die. Personally, I think it proves energy, it proves the soul or the spirits. The science is like, no, that's not what it does, but that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Because you've been in rooms where like you feel the energy shift without someone saying a word. And we've always had like different feelings, right? That, there's no science behind it, but we just know. And now science is catching up to all of these. Intuition, they're calling it pattern recognition now. Your brain picking up micro signals in past experiences faster than they can consciously process them. When you say, I just had a feeling, it's your nervous system doing the math. When we talk about bad vibes, they're calling that mirror neurons and emotional contagion. So your body is syncing up with someone else's energy without any words, without any logic. It just knows. There's energy healing. Science is also catching up there too. They're calling it nervous system regulation, somatic release, or polyvagal theory. That sounds weird. It's whether it's Reiki or breath work, whatever it is, it's just shifting your body out of survival mode and back into balance. So, yes, science is catching up, but just always known. And here's my take on this. It's great sometimes when you can back this up with science and point to it. But I think science needs to stop discounting when people say something, even if they don't have the research for it yet, right? It's stuff that we've known, it's stuff that's been passed down generations. It's stuff that, again, indigenous people know, healers know, grandma knows, auntie knows. So we don't need permission to like believe in these things that have been passed down for generations. We don't need the data. We don't need you to be like, well, we've done the photon emission, blah, 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 blah. No,
Yeah.
we know it in our bones. So
Not everything needs to be intellectualized.
it doesn't. We just feel it. That's how we've survived for as long as we've survived. A lot of things when we didn't have science, we just kind of knew. So
So many known
um
unknowns, so
yeah, I think there's a lot of weirdness in this world that like we haven't even begun to crack.
yeah.
There's so much we just cannot explain. And just because we don't have like somebody in a white coat saying, well, it's plus square, whatever scientists do. So we're glowing, okay? We are glowing.
Gotta glow, girl.
Yeah. Drink some water, change your crystals or don't, but make sure you protect that light.
That's right, girl. That is right.
Yeah.
I got some black tourmaline on my wrist, okay? Because I feel like I gotta hit them with like bing, bap, boom, bop, bam. Hit them with the Kendrick Lamar. You're not coming for me. Protected.
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, lads and lasses, cowboys and cowgirls, this has been the conclusion of this episode. We're gonna take a break, right? For a couple of weeks, little lady.
We're going to take a break for a little bit. Oh yeah, because June, it's June. It is, we are halfway through the year. We're about to
Yes,
be halfway through the year. This is insane.
yes, it is insane. So we'll
Yeah.
take a break for a couple of weeks and then we'll be back.
We'll see y'all in July.
Till next time, y'all. Deuces.
Deuces.